I'm here at Notre Dame's Heshburg Library, and I'm looking up Henry Chandler Cowles. And this information is from the Michigan State University. They have a copy of the original document here, and I'm just going to read it to you. I'm going to read some of it. That's the whole purpose of this. The ecological relations of the vegetation on the sand dunes of Indiana. The University of Chicago, 1899. And I'm scrolling down here. It's from the Botanical Gazette. And there were, the editors were John Coulter, University of Chicago, Charles R. Bones, University of Chicago, and J.C. Arthur, Purdue University in Lafayette. Now here's interesting where the associate editors are from. I'm just going to name the countries or places. Geneva, University of Padua, University of Berlin, L'École de Pharmacie, University of Wisconsin, Imperial University in Tokyo, University of Bonn, University of Michigan, Harvard University, Missouri Botanical Garden, University of Cambridge, University of Copenhagen. So people all around the world are part of this. So this is what I wanted to read. The introduction. It's called The Ecological Relations of the Vegetation on the Sand Dunes of Lake Michigan. Part 1. Geographical Relations of the Dune Floras. Contributions from the Hull Botanical Laboratory. Henry Chandler Cowles. Introduction. The province of ecology is to consider the mutual relations between plants and their environment. Such a study is to structural botany what dynamical geology is to structured geology. Just as modern geologists interpret the structure of the rocks by seeking to find how and under what conditions similar rocks are formed today, so ecologists seek to study those plant structures which are changing at the present time and thus to throw light on the origin of plant structures themselves. Again, ecology is comparable to physiography. The surface of the earth is composed of a myriad of topographic forms not at all distinct, but passing into one another by a series of almost perfect gradations. The physiographer studies landscapes in their making and writes on their origin and relationships of topographic forms. The ecologist employs the methods of physiography regarding the flora of a pond or swamp or hillside, not as changeless landscape feature, but rather as a panorama never twice alike. The ecologist then must study the order of succession of the plant societies in the development of a region, and he must ecology, therefore, is a study in dynamics. For it is mostly ready application. Plants should be found whose tissues and organs are actually changing at the present time. This is in 1899. This is scanned in of print from 1899, so sometimes it is hard to read. And okay, so the sentences continue on the next page. Response to various conditions. Plant formations should be found which are rapidly passing into other types by reason of a changing environment. These requirements are met par excellence in a region of sand dunes. Perhaps no topographic form is more unstable than a dune. Because of this instability, plant societies, plant organs, and plant tissues are obliged to adapt themselves to a new mode of life within years rather than centuries. The penalty for a lack of adaptation being certain death. The sand dunes furnish a favorable region for the pursuit. The pursuit of ecological investigations because of the comparative absence of the perplexing problems arising from previous vegetation. Any plant society is the joint product of present and past environmental conditions, and perhaps the latter are more potent than most ecologists have thought. As will be shown in another place, even the sand dunes flora are often highly modified by pre-existing conditions, but on the whole, the physical forces of the present shape the floras as we find them. The advancing dune buries the old plant societies of a region, and with their death, there pass away the influences which contributed so largely to their making. In place of the rich soil which had been accumulating by centuries of plant and animal decay, and in the place of complex reciprocal relations between the plants, as worked out by a struggle of centuries, the advance of a dune makes all things new. By burying the past, the dune offers to plant life a world for conquest, subject almost entirely to existing physical conditions. The primary motive, then, which prompts this present study was the feeling that nowhere else could many of the living problems of ecology be solved more clearly, that nowhere else could ecological principles be subjected to a more rigid test. This particular investigation was also prompted by the fact the previous ecological studies of sand dune floras have been carried on chiefly in European countries and almost exclusively among marine coasts. There have been considerable differences of opinion as to the influence of salty soils and atmospheres upon the vegetation. It would seem that a comparison of dunes along an inland freshwater lake with those along the sea should yield instructive results. An ecological study of this character has a nature twofold division. In the first place, the plant formation are to be investigated. The species characteristic of each formation must be discovered together with facts and laws of their distribution. The progress changes that take place and the factors in the environment which cause their changes must be discussed. This phase of the subject is largely geographic and will be the special feature of the present paper. In addition, in another paper, it is the author's purpose, Chandler Cowles, to discuss the adaptations of the plants to their dune environment, paying special attention to the species which show a large degree of plasticity and which are found growing under widely diverging conditions. This second phase, again, has a natural twofold division. one part treating of gross adaptations such as shown in the plant organs and plant bodies, the other dealing with the anatomical structures of the plant tissues. The material for the present paper has been gathered chiefly from the study of the dunes in northwestern Indiana in the vicinity of Chicago. These studies were carried on in the seasons of 1896, 1897, and 1898. Frequent visits being made to various points at all seasons of the year. A portion of the summer seasons of 1897 and 1898 was spent in a more rapid reconnaissance along the entire eastern shore of Lake Michigan, including the group of islands toward the north end of the lake. The work resulting in this paper has been carried on in connection with the Hall Botanical Library of the University of Chicago, and the author gratefully acknowledges the kindly interest and cooperation shown by his associates among the faculty and students of the Botanical Department, especially head professor John M. Coulter, Coulter, through those whose influence the author was directed along lines of ecological research. The author further desires to express his great indebtedness to Dr. Eugen Warming, that's Eugen, then Warming, professor of botany at Copenhagen. His textbook on ecology and his treatise on the sand dune floors of Denmark have helped greatly to make clear the true content of ecology, and they have been a constant incentive to more careful and thorough work. Most of the photographs, which were taken especially for this paper by Mr. E.W. Martin, a Chicago photographer, that's Martyn. Some of the views were taken by Messrs. S.M. Coulter and H.F. Roberts, students in the Hall Botanical Laboratory. The map was prepared by Mr. S.M. Coulter. I'm going to just scroll through and see. Yeah, there's a map of Lake Michigan area, and it continues down. I'm just quickly scrolling. Yeah, so there's a lot. What I had read was just the first part, and so I'm gonna stop there right before point 2, which is general features of the coast of Lake Michigan. So I will continue there on a future day.